Hey everybody, welcome to Lawyer Live with Matt the Lawyer. I am Matt the Lawyer. So before we get started, once again, I want to remind everybody to please go check out the website, www.mattthelawyer.com, and you can check out some of the other stuff that we have up on our blog, as well as some other information, including the opportunity to purchase my book about building better contracts for your better business relationships. So those of you who pay attention to the news, may have realized that the Supreme Court passed or handed down a pretty significant decision dealing with taxing of internet commerce, e-commerce. The case is called South Dakota versus Wayfair. Essentially, what it deals with is, let's back up and say, most states have a sales tax. Not every state, but most states have a sales tax on the goods and some of the services that are bought and sold in the particular state. Older interpretations of the Commerce Clause, which governs how business is done, Commerce Clause referring to the Constitution, said that unless the retailer had a physical presence in the state, they didn't have to collect sales tax, and they didn't have to collect it and send it into the various states. Now, this is very good if you're somebody like Amazon or Wayfair or Barnes & Noble or whoever else that is out there that sells a lot of stuff over the internet. So, although those sales are not exempt from sales tax, the sales tax is supposed to be paid by the consumer. Now, raise your hand out there if you have ever paid a sales tax for all of those Amazon purchases to your home state. I can't even see you, and I seriously doubt there's any hands in the air. And that's the problem. See, the state of South Dakota figured it was losing between $48 and $58 million a year in sales tax because individuals weren't paying the sales tax. They were getting their stuff from Amazon or wherever, and they weren't paying the sales tax. So South Dakota passed a law that said that any retailer who sends $100,000 or more or has 200 transactions or more in the state of South Dakota, so deliveries to South Dakota people, have to collect the sales tax and submit that sales tax to the state. There was some problems, so South Dakota decided to sue a whole bunch of people and get the declaration that this was a legal law. It's kind of an odd way of going about doing it, but it worked, and the case made it to the Supreme Court. Now, the Supreme Court goes through a pretty lengthy discussion of the academic side of what we're talking about here in the case. It talks about Commerce Clause. It takes apart this particular case that had established the physical presence rule and basically says that at the end of the day, the states can impose a tax on commerce as long as there's a reasonable relationship between the commercial activity and the tax that's being assessed. So the court noted that the South Dakota was not intending to tax small businesses because this kind of a tax could be very well damaging to a small business. For example, people who sell stuff on Etsy or people who sell stuff occasionally to a particular state on a rare occasion. Maybe they focus just on the mid-Atlantic, and on the rare occasion they sell something to Michigan or Idaho or something like that. So the South Dakota law was specifically exempting those kinds of small, lower-level commercial activity. So what does this mean going forward, which is the real question that everybody's asking. So here it is. Cash-strapped states are going to start implementing one of these taxes. States like California, New York, New Jersey, Illinois, Michigan, places where you hear about massive income tax shortfalls, massive pension crises, or we don't have to fund the pensions, or states that have a lot of economic activity because they have a lot of stuff shipped to the state. Those are the states that are going to be looking at implementing one of these taxes. It's a pretty good bet that California has a piece of legislation. If it hasn't already been introduced, it's been sitting in the wings waiting for this decision to come down from the court. I don't think that small retailers are at risk yet. I think most states are going to look at the South Dakota law and say, well, the Supreme Court said that that particular law was okay, those standards were okay, so we'll go ahead and adopt those, we'll use those as the standard. So small retailers, Etsy folks, people who also sell on Shopify, these sorts of activities, they're not going to see the problem. Or if you ship a lot of stuff out, but not a lot of things to the same state, you're probably going to be okay. So chances are you're going to have to start paying attention. My guess is places like the Chamber of Commerce, the NFIB, and other organizations they're going to track these kinds of activities, they're going to track these laws, and they'll have a resource. Stay tuned. That just because small businesses are currently exempt doesn't mean they won't be exempt. They will continue to be exempt. It could get changed. So in the meantime, go out and watch some live soccer and go out and sell some stuff. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.